The Bellingham story, born in England, honed in Germany, and now ready to make his mark in Spain. Jude Bellingham's journey is truly exceptional. In under 4 years since his debut for his beloved Birmingham City, the versatile midfielder is unveiled as Real Madrid's high-profile signing. He becomes the second most expensive British player ever, commanding an £88.5 million transfer fee and the potential to break the record during his 6-year contract. With 200 appearances to his name, 24 caps for England, and a significant role in Borussia Dortmund's DFB Pokal win, along with back-to-back selections in the Bundesliga Team of the Season and being named Player of the Year for the 2022-23 season, Bellingham has already achieved more than most players his age could dream of. Astonishingly, he's just turned 20. But how did this exceptionally talented player rise so quickly in his fledgling career? Join us as we delve into the story of Jude Bellingham. For fans of Birmingham City, the past few years haven't been easy. They've had only 7 seasons in the Premier League this century, with the last one being back in 2010-11. The club has faced troubles with management and finances, and they've struggled to climb higher than 17th place in the championship over the past 7 attempts. So it's no surprise that they take great pride in Jude Bellingham, one of their own, a local lad from Birmingham who's risen to become one of the world's best midfielders before even reaching adulthood. Jude's early life tells us a lot about his journey. He was born in Stourbridge, a small town 15 miles west of Birmingham, in June 2003 to parents Denise and Mark Bellingham, with his dad being a prolific non-league goal scorer. It's interesting to note that he didn't immediately fall in love with football. His first coach, Phil Woodridge, remembers 4-year-old Jude took some time to warm up to football. It wasn't love at first sight, it took a few months. But once he got the hang of it, his passion was ignited. Jude and his brother Job, who recently signed with Sunderland, were always seen with a ball at their feet. Woodridge and Mark Bellingham were the founders of Stourbridge Juniors, the first team Jude joined. What was he like back then? According to Mike Dodds, a coach at Sunderland who looked after Bellingham during his time at the Birmingham Academy, he was quite quick, not necessarily more technically gifted than other boys, but he had a genuine hunger and enthusiasm for the game. Many players have great talent, but what often sets the best apart is their mindset. Dodds explained, he had a strong desire to excel in every aspect, whether it was in the gym, analyzing matches, schoolwork, or during the matches themselves. His overall determination and commitments stood out among his peers. It was clear from a young age just how seriously he took his football journey. At the age of 13, Bellingham's diary entry for his school's website after meeting up with England under-15s revealed, "I was glad to be home and cozy after it, recognizing the importance of a good rest." While most teenagers might ease off during those formative years, Bellingham was already a dedicated professional, always looking to get better. Yet he still needed that one opportunity, and it came from an unlikely source. Pep Clotet, not a widely celebrated manager but instrumental in Bellingham's development, managed Birmingham from June 2019 to July 2020. In an interview with Mail Sport in 2021, he mentioned, "I remember seeing Jude in the younger teams at Birmingham, and right away, I thought he could train with the first team. As soon as I got the job, I brought him over. The reason was simple," as Clotet told the EFL. "Have I ever seen another 16-year-old like him? No, only Messi." His teammates felt the same way. Harley Dean, who played center-back for Birmingham and Brentford for 12 years, said to Mail Sport, "He was the best player in training every day. I've never seen anyone like Jude. He was a cut above." After playing for Birmingham's under-18 team at 14 and their under-23 side at 15, he soon made his mark on a wider stage. On August 6, 2019, he started an EFL Cup match against Portsmouth, becoming the club's youngest ever player just over a month after turning 16, breaking a 50-year-old record held by Trevor Francis. By the end of the month, he became their youngest ever goal scorer, netting a winner against Stoke on his home debut, followed by the only goal in a 1-0 win against Charlton 2 weeks later. He was named EFL Young Player of the Month in November. In January, Birmingham turned down interest from Manchester United, and he ended the season with 4 goals in 44 appearances, ranking 8th in the squad for lead minutes as a 16-year-old. With Birmingham barely avoiding relegation on the last day, Clotet was soon out, and it was clear that the young talent had outgrown the club. Less than 50 games into his senior career, Manchester United once again made a move for him, going all out. They even had Sir Alex Ferguson and Eric Cantona meet him during his visit to Carrington. As former Birmingham CEO Wayne Dong Ren shared with Mundo Deportivo, they offered a much higher salary compared to others, maybe double. He was guaranteed millions in the bank, but he turned it down. That's not something you see every day from a player. However, Bellingham considered the bigger picture. Yes, United's offer was more financially tempting, but they had only been in the Champions League 3 times in the past 5 seasons. On the other hand, Dortmund had only missed out once in the previous 9 campaigns. Furthermore, considering Dortmund's history of developing young talents like Ousmane Dembele, Jadon Sancho, and Christian Pulisic, Bellingham believed that Dortmund was the right next step in his growth. A £30 million deal was reached, and Birmingham retired his number 22 shirt, a number he chose because it represented his unique ability to play as a 4, 8, and 10, and Bellingham was on his way to the Bundesliga. What's truly remarkable about Jude Bellingham is that he hasn't taken a step sideways in his career, let alone a backward one. While many expected him to gradually break into the first team, that wasn't the case. After being on the bench for 2 of his first 9 Bundesliga games, he was benched for just 1 Dortmund game since a 2-2 draw against Mainz on the final day of 22-23. Even after missing the previous game against Augsburg due to a knee injury, his records kept coming. He scored on his debut in the DFB Pokal, becoming Dortmund's youngest ever goal scorer. He also became the 2nd youngest scorer in the competition's knockout stage with a goal against Manchester City, joining Yuri Tillemans as one of 2 players in the competition's history to make 10 Champions League appearances before turning 18. These weren't just symbolic gestures for a young player. Bellingham has been the driving force and energy of the BVB team practically from the get-go. While Dortmund's performances in the Champions League may have been underwhelming in his final 2 seasons with the club, failing to advance from the group stage in 21-22, and then experiencing setbacks against Rangers in the Europa League playoffs and a subpar Chelsea side last season, Bellingham himself has been outstanding. He tallied 8 goals and 7 assists in 25 games in the competition. After proving himself both in the Bundesliga and on the European stage, the demand for Bellingham to become a regular for the England national team grew louder. Southgate, however, proceeded cautiously. Although he was called up due to injuries in November 2020, he only played more than 45 minutes against San Marino and Andorra in competitive fixtures in 2021, while he got 55 minutes in England's run to the Euro 2020 final. By the time the 2022 World Cup came around, Bellingham was ready to make his mark on the international stage. Southgate had no excuse as England's 2021 Player of the Year. Calvin Phillips struggled for playing time at Manchester City, so he placed the Dortmund star in the spotlight. And Bellingham certainly delivered. He not only became England's 2nd youngest goal scorer at a World Cup with a goal against Iran, but he led the squad in various statistics like shot-creating actions, blocks, tackles, deceptions, dribbles, and progressive passes received. His ability to physically dominate and control any opponent was evident in the numbers. Throughout 22-23, he ranked 3rd in the Bundesliga for tackles won in the opposition 3rd, just behind Kimmich and Coman, and topped the division for completed dribbles and progressive carries. The presence of Emre Can, like Rice with England, allowed him to roam, disrupt play in advanced areas, and use his athleticism to attack the box. While in his early days at Dortmund, he occasionally took risks in possession and faced frustration with an immature team that would often squander leads, Bellingham has matured. He even captained BVB in the absence of Royce and Hummels in 22-23, becoming the youngest duo to do so in Bundesliga history. By the summer, it was clear that Bellingham was in high demand. His manager, Edin Terzic, marveled at how a 19-year-old played like him. Mourinho expressed his admiration, saying, "I loved everything about Bellingham." Even Guardiola admitted his astonishment. The battle for Bellingham's services boiled down to Manchester City and Real Madrid. Perez emphasized the benefits of learning from Cruz and Modric, both 9-time Champions League winners, and highlighted Vinicius Jr.'s progress in recent seasons. Despite Manchester City's persistent efforts, which reportedly included regular calls from Guardiola and Haaland, the decision was made. Bellingham chose Real Madrid. Credit to the 14-time European champions for securing his services for a fixed fee of €103 million after having initially requested €150 million in January. He was unveiled in June 2023 at the club's training ground and handed the iconic number 5 shirt. With the likes of Modric and Valverde in the Real Madrid midfield, they arguably possess one of the most stacked midfield resources in football history for the upcoming season. If you have any doubts about whether Jude Bellingham will repay the faith shown in him and more, consider his success in the championship, dominance in the Bundesliga, and standout performances at a World Cup. At just 20 years old, and with the renowned white of Real Madrid adorning him, he has every opportunity to create a legacy that surpasses the legends of English football. So, thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.